Hello, welcome to MTG Pro Tutor. I'm Sean Pennard, your host. Thank you so much for joining me as we continue to explore Tarkir. Let's dive on into this pack and see what we get. Cons of Tarkir is a very interesting pack set because it has centered around 3 colors, which makes it kind of hard to evaluate. But here's what we have: the marketing card, the land, and our rare, ooh, nice, a foil island, cool. And our rare is awesome. Look at that. We have a fetch land. Sweet. So that's pretty cool. This is the same fetch land that we had in our very first Cons of Tarkir video. So it looks like I'm building a little collection here. These cards are worth about 20 bucks. So, I mean, very rarely, I guess. So in my first video, I made it very clear that if you're going for the win, then you don't want to first pick this. You want to take a card that actually can do something in your deck. However, unless you are, day 2 of a Grand Prix or something like that, very rarely are you going to get any better value than pulling a fetch land. So, taking the fetch land right off the bat is not a bad call because you can pay for your draft, and then you'll be able to draft again. So that is really cool. However, as far as building a deck on your first turn, taking a fetch land doesn't really do much for you because you don't even know if you're going to be in those colors. So there you have it. Let's see what else the pack has to offer. Crippling Chill for 3 mana and instant. You tap target creature. It does not untap during its controller's next untap step, and you draw a card. So that's really nice. This is like a Frost Lynx, only it's not a creature, and you get to draw a card. So that is kind of cool. Sagu Archer is a 2/5 for 5 with reach. That's really nice. It's gonna be hard to get through that. He does have morph, and the morph cost is the same as its hard cast cost. So that's very interesting. You can play it on turn 3 for utility, and then turn it up for 5. Dutiful Return for 4 mana. Return up to 2 target creatures from your graveyard to your hand. Bloodfell Caves comes into the battlefield tapped. You gain 1 life, and it taps for a red or a black. So you are going, once you kind of figure out what colors you're going to be in, your deck can safely support 5 or 6 tap lands, lands that come into play tapped. So just keep that in mind. You don't want too many of them, but you're definitely going to want some of them to help fix your mana. Alabaster Corinne, a 2/3 Flying Vigilance for 4. So that's kind of nice. A 2/3 for 3 is good. And then a 2/3 for 4 with 2 abilities. I mean, that's not bad. It's pretty plain beyond that. But it's great attacker and blocker, and it's there to kind of, beef. You can beef it up if you need to. So I don't think you'd cut this if you were in white. It's just a really good kind of fills in the 4 hole. Abomination of Gudul is a 3/4 flying for 6 mana. When Abomination of Gudul deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card, and you can morph it for 5, or unmorph it rather. So there you have it. I guess the idea is you attack, and then surprise, I get to draw a card and then discard a card. So Mystic of the Hidden Way, a 3/2 for 5 mana. No thank you, but let's see what he does. He can't be blocked, okay, and he's a morph. For 3. No, so he's a morph for 3. So you can play him on turn 3, and then morph him on turn 4. So then on turn 4 you have a 3/2 unblockable. That's much better than a 3/2 unblockable for 5, I think. But still not a high pick. Summit Prowler is a 4/3 for 4 mana. He does have 2 red mana, so 2 red mana symbols, so that makes him kind of awkward. I think there's a lot of other choices that you can pick much higher than the Summit Prowler. Here is the green-red Refuge, as they're being called, because the Refuge ability is it gives you a life when it comes into the battlefield. Again, good to have, but you don't have to take them highly until you know what your colors are. Other than, of course, the Wooded Foothills. Blinding Spray, look at this. It's a snake spitting in someone's face. Creatures your opponent control get -4/-0 until end of turn. Draw a card. So for 5 mana, everybody gets -4/-0. I'm out. That just doesn't affect the board as much for me as I would like. War Name Aspirant it's a 2/1 for 2, so not that cool. But it does have raid. It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if you attacked with a creature this turn. Warname Aspirant can't be blocked by creatures with power 1 or less. So it cannot be chump blocked. And it can be a 3/2 on turn 2 if you attack. So you need to play a 1-drop. Then on turn 2 you need to attack with a 1-drop and then play this guy. Or this girl, rather. So I don't know. I don't think you're going to get a 3/2 on turn 2 that often. That's just my gut feeling off of Warname Aspirant. And Despise, we have target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a creature or planeswalker card from it. That player discards that card for 1 mana. So a creature or planeswalker. More often than not, you're going to be looking for a creature. And obviously, the earlier you play this, the better. But do we pick it highly? I don't know. That Wooded Foothills is looking mighty fine. The uncommons weren't terribly amazing first picks to me. It's just the most useful card in this pack. The Sagu Archer. I don't know. I think the Sagu Archer or the Alabaster Corinne. Between the two, I would definitely take the Sagu Archer. It's good to have a nice big wall. You know, a 2/5 with reach. That's really good. I think that's pretty solid. As far I'm trying to look at single colored cards just so that we kind of don't box ourselves in. I still think Wooded Foothills is the first pick here after kind of being reminded that really, unless you're at a day 2 of a Grand Prix or something like that, some high profile game, first picking a money card, a high money card like this is not the end of the world. So that would be the first pick, obviously. But as far as cards go for building a deck, I'm going to go with Sagu Archer. But yeah, we're early in the format. Hopefully I get a better understanding as we move through and draft this a bunch. And I'm looking forward to it. All the uncommons. Oh wait, that's not uncommon. All the uncommons here were single colored cards as well. It's just that I don't think they're worthy of a first pick, really. I tend to take a creature for a first pick. But that's just me. So thanks so much for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you learned something. Please leave a comment below. We're all going to need help getting to learn Khans of Tarkir. It's a 3-color set, and it's really going to push the boundaries as far as our skills as drafters go. So thanks so much for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next pack.